I've received a few comments and questions from people around why I think competition is good for the retail energy market. I just want to address those thoughts and concerns now. Hi everyone, I'm Richard Winstone with Over 50s Money. It's just a quick video to explain why I think competition is healthy in the retail energy market, and why we should be trying to persuade Ofgem to bring back competition as quickly as possible. So I've received some comments and emails about the fact that the competitive market that we had prior to the energy crisis is what led to the collapse of 30 companies, and has cost us all billions of pounds. It's been really expensive, and why it may not be the best way to go about the retail energy market. And I actually strongly disagree with those views. I think competition in a privatized energy market is very important for the consumer, for our prices. And I just want to explain my reasoning why, and explain some of the logic behind the collapse and how much this actually cost us. Um, so if we look at pre 2021, prior to the collapse, we did have a wide range of energy suppliers in the market that we could go to, and a lot of them weren't financially stable. So when the crisis hit, about 30 of them collapsed, and that affected around 15% of households in the UK were displaced and had to move to other suppliers. It cost about £1.8 billion, which has been borne by all customers across the markets. All of us are paid for that. And I believe in the price cap, it ended up hitting us at £94 per median usage household. So obviously, you have lower usage, you would have paid less of that, and if you have higher usage, you would have paid more. But it costs us around £90 a year each per household. Um, it's important to remember that's a one-off cost. That's not a continued cost going forwards. And on top of that, prior to the crisis, when we did have a competitive market, the fixed rate tariffs out there could did save on average somewhere around £150 to £200 per year compared to the price cap. So for the 50% of households in the UK that were actively engaged in the energy market, switching every year, they were saving between £150 and £200 per year compared to price cap figures back then. Now we don't have that competitive market. What we've got six suppliers who, prior to the crash, had 59% market share. Those six suppliers now have over 90% market share, and most of their customers are on the price cap, and they're not offering these fixed rate tariffs on price comparison sites, so we're able to switch and save regularly. So 50% of us, those of us that were engaged prior to the crisis, are missing out on hundreds of pounds per year of savings because we don't have a competitive market. Having price competition forces suppliers with large shareholdings, like large market share, to lower their prices to retain customers and get new customers to replace the ones that are leaving them. But at the moment, we're in a stagnant market because these big six have most of the market to themselves. And all of those customers are now on a price cap that has been increased by about 20, increased through 20 different decisions that Ofgem have made over the last 2 years to make the price cap more profitable for energy suppliers. So those big six are just sitting there raking in money off of us. And until one of them starts being competitive and offering price reductions through fixed rate tariffs, none of them will. Because the longer they can hold this stalemate, this stagnation, they can just keep raking in profits from all of us. So a competitive energy market reduces the price of energy for us, the consumers. It will also reduce profit levels for energy suppliers, but they should be able to balance that against the cost, the excessive profits they're receiving from standard variable tariffs, and the fact that they've got such a large market share now. So all of those customers that are used to cross-sell to with their broadband products, their boiler care, their EV and EV chargers, and like all of those things, they'll have more customers to do that to. So they should still be able to maintain high levels of profit in a competitive market. What I want is Ofgem to try and force energy suppliers to get back to a competitive place. Now, some of you will be thinking about the fact that fixed rate tariffs are being offered again, and that is true. But if you go to a price comparison site, most of them aren't there. So what most energy suppliers are doing at the moment are offering fixed rate tariffs either as retention only, so to their own customers only, or they're offering them on their website only, which is great, but you can't compare prices. You don't know if that's a good deal or a bad deal. The only thing you're comparing it to is the standard variable tariff, which, that energy company will show you, hey, you're currently paying this, and with our new deal, you're paying this. But you don't know if that's a good deal compared to the 20 other suppliers that might be offering fixed rate tariffs elsewhere, because none of them are offering them on price comparison sites. So I think we need Ofgem to enforce a rule where, and do you know what? It's a pipe dream because Ofgem can't force commercial deals. And that is what a price comparison site has with energy suppliers. It's a commercial deal to switch customers for them. Ofgem won't be able to enforce that, but there needs to be a push towards getting energy suppliers to start offering their fixed rate tariffs on price comparison websites again to bring back the competitive market. It will save most of us a lot of money. And remember, I said 50% prior to the crisis were engaged with the energy market, and obviously a lot more of us have become a lot more engaged with the energy market since the crisis. So we need to get to a point where price comparison sites are able to switch customers again, and we can get a healthy, competitive switching market back, which will force energy suppliers into A, reducing their prices, and B, improving their services, including customer services, because Ofgem's own reports have shown over the last 3 years, customer services have tanked. They have dipped massively. And that's because energy suppliers don't need to worry. They don't care. There was no switching market from sort of September 2021, so they couldn't lose customers. So why invest in customer service? Your customers aren't going anywhere. You can mistreat them all you like, and there's nowhere else for them to go because they couldn't switch. The switching market's coming back slowly, but rather than investing in their customer services, British Gas announced 10 times record profit levels, and they gave their CEO a £5 million bonus and increased their dividend payouts to shareholders. They're not investing in their customers. Competition is what makes them invest in customers, because if you start losing customers hand over fist, you have to actually be good as a company to retain customers and attract new ones. Either that, or you have to massively dip your prices. Again, good for the consumer. Competition forces companies to do this. So we need to get a competitive market back. That's why I think Ofgem's competitive framework is a good idea. I think it's a soft touch. I don't think it goes far enough. And I think we need more competition, and we need Ofgem to do more to bring competition back, starting with removing the market stabilisation charge. Energy suppliers will use that as an excuse not to compete, and it's not an entirely unreasonable excuse. If they're already paying for every customer that switches, and they have to pay that to their competitor, they're not going to want to give their competitor money. They're not going to lose profit by having to pay for a customer, and they're not going to want to put their tariffs on a price comparison website where they have to pay for that customer again to the price comparison website. So removing the market stabilisation charge gives energy suppliers the opportunity to be more competitive by opening up the opportunity for them to put their tariffs on a price comparison site and only pay one fee for a new customer rather than two. And that fee doesn't go to their competitor, it'll go to a price comparison site, so it's more appealing to them. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on why competition's healthy. I know a lot of people also think about nationalisation of the energy industry, bringing that back. And I've got to say, I 100% agree with it. France have done it and it worked fantastically for France. But France only privatised 14% of one company. And during the crisis, they renationalised that 14%. The government kept 86% ownership. And to renationalise that 14% of the one company cost them €5 billion. So nationalisation of the energy industry in the UK, I don't think is real. I don't think it's a possibility. It will cost too much because the government can't just steal these companies back from private companies. They would have to pay for them. And the cost of 20 plus suppliers, of half a dozen wholesale producers, and of our actual national grid. Like national grid is 80% owned by an Australian investment conglomerate, right? To cut the cost of buying all of that back, I think would border on trillions, and we as a country can't afford it. So I do think that's a pipe dream, and so it's why I don't pay much attention or like put a lot of time into talking about that, because I'd rather improve our reality than talk about something that I do believe isn't possible. So when I talk about competition in a private market, when I talk about making improvements to Ofgem's price cap and all of their regulations, it's because I'm trying to improve our reality and not focus on something that I just don't think can change. At the very least, it's not something I'm able to change. I don't think my words will make a difference. So you're always still welcome to send me those emails and leave those comments about nationalisation, and I do agree with you. But I won't be putting a lot of time and effort into that, because I think the biggest difference I can make is to work with Ofgem to improve Ofgem's processes and their price cap, and to try and improve the energy market for the consumer. That's where I'm focused. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. That may have been a lot of babble. As always, feel free to leave your comments in the description below, or send me any emails you want via support@over50smoney.com. That email is in the description below. And please subscribe to the Over 50s Money YouTube channel. Share this video with your friends and family. The more exposure we get, the better it helps us. The more you help us, the more we can help you. So yeah, please do subscribe, like, share, all of that. Thank you.